Hello and welcome to today's issue of escape room planning for the classroom. And today I'm going to be making a very quick review game. So usually throughout the year, especially right around homecoming week, we have a lot of activities going on. And so last year there was this day where one of our activities got rained out. The kids came to school. We had no lesson plans at all because we had all these homecoming activities that we were going to do, and yet I found myself with students in my classroom. And so I had to put together some really quick escape room, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that again, and this year I'm going to be prepared. I'm hoping homecoming week doesn't get rained out, but there's always times in the classroom where you have kids that need something to do. And instead of having them play video games, what better than just a quick escape room activity that I can just kind of pull out, something that reviews former material. We're also always told as teachers that we need to constantly be reviewing what they've already learned, and that's hard because I feel like I spend all of my time teaching new stuff, so it's hard to go back and review. So what I intend to do today is to create an escape room that is very small. That's a series of very small puzzles that reviews material that we would have gone through prior to homecoming week. So homecoming hits us about October, so I've basically had 6 weeks of school, or about 4 units worth of material. And if I need to use it during homecoming week, great. But if not, anytime after that, if I have students who finish something early in class, like when we're doing a project-based learning unit, or if we have a down day for whatever reason, because those usually happen, or even if I have a sub come in and I need something for the students to do, I'll have this in my back pocket ready to go. So here we go. All right, so here's my Google form. This is where I'm going to start. And like I said, I'm going to do a really small puzzle per unit. Now, this is not going to be a comprehensive review by any means, but it is going to require the kids to kind of reach back in their brains just a little bit. I'm not going to worry about titling this or anything like that just yet. We'll make it look pretty at the end. What I want to do is add a question. And so the first unit that I focus on is conquest and colonization of the New World. So I'm going to put that on here. And I have an image. Let's see, this is I have an image that, here we go, it's a map. This is something that the students have seen before. It was on my PowerPoint when we were going over conquest and colonization of the New World. So it's something that we spent some time talking about. So this is something that should jar their memory. It should look a little familiar. And what I want them to do is to tell me what order these powers came to the New World. So the answer should be Spain, and then France came next, and then the English came last. Now, if I just said that, they'd probably get that in a heartbeat. So I'm going to make this challenging by not giving them all the information that they need to know exactly what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is up here, my clue is going to be that this is a 3-letter combo, all caps. So I'm going to say that. And then I'm also going to tell them, actually, I'll just keep it in here. I'm going to say that Y is yellow, B is blue, R is red, G is green, Q is gray. There we go. So when they look at this, they're going to be like, okay, she just gave us 5 different letters that stand for colors and didn't tell us what to do with them, but this is a 3-letter combo. So what I'm hoping that they'll do is, first of all, I hope they'll get slightly thrown off by the gray and the blue, which are not relevant at all. And they'll focus instead on the 3 powers here, and that somebody in the group will go, oh, I know. It's supposed to be in what order did they colonize. In fact, instead of conquest, I think I'll just say colonization of the New World right up here. There we go. Okay, so this already changed for me. That's great. So instead of a multiple choice, I'm going to make this a short answer. And down here, I'm going to say that this is a required, but I also, oops, let me see if I can get this where you can see it. There's this option right here that says response validation. And so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to put text here. So my text contains, and like I said, the answer would be, oh, it's not the S, sorry, green, yellow, red, GYR. But if they don't get that right, then my custom error text would be like ships are sinking, try again. Something like that. There we go. And then before I move on to my next question, instead of adding another question, what I'm going to do is add a section. So that way they have to do this before they move on to the next one. You can do it either way, but because history is chronological and I'm doing this sequentially, I think adding a section is the best way to do it. So they have to solve this problem before they move on to the next. Alright, so I'm going to go down here to my next section, and I'm going to add a question right here. In fact, it says untitled section. I could put this as unit 2 if I want. That way, because they're going to kind of figure that out, that this question's from unit 2. But my question to them is, how well do you know your Chesapeake history? So in unit 2 in my class, that's when we get into Chesapeake versus New England. So we talk about the settlement of Jamestown, and then we talk about the Puritans in New England. So what I've noticed is a lot of times they will mix the two together. They mash them up. And so the simple thing I'm testing here is, do you know which of the terms that I'm going to show you are Chesapeake? Now if I were doing this, here, let me see. Let me add the image first so I can show you what I'm doing. There we go. I created a graphic. It was basically a simple chart in Microsoft Word. It looks like this. Okay, so you see it says, that's above it, but you see it says start here, and then it has a series of terms. Now some of these terms are about the Chesapeake and some of them are about New England. If I were doing this in an actual escape room format in my classroom, I would be using a directional lock. Since I am using Google Forms and I don't have a directional lock, I'm just going to do this. U is up, D down. Oh, I can make that smaller. R is right, L is left, and this is going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letter combo. Five-letter combo, all caps. And so what they're going to have to do is they're going to start here, and they essentially have to work their way through. So they can go, okay, well, we know that Puritans belong in New England, so that's not the way we go. Instead, we go over here to indentured servitude, so we would go to the right. And then do they go down or right? So they're going to trace a path where they go this way, this way, this way, this way, and they're an end on Jamestown. So once again, we're going to do a short answer. And I'm going to do response validation. Okay, so this is going to be text, and it contains, let's see, R, D, R, R, D. There we go. Maybe not watch that, maybe. Looks like you might secretly be a Puritan. In other words, you actually love New England instead. And so that, once again, something pretty quick. This doesn't ask them to know anything in order. It's just saying, do you know the difference between the Chesapeake and New England? And then once again, we're going to, instead of adding a question, I'm going to go over here and add a section. All right, now I'm on to Unit 3, and I'm going to add a question here. And once again, I've created a graphic. And this is going to load. Now, I could have created just individual questions. That would have been fine. But instead, I created this graphic because I wanted them to have the feeling of putting a combination in. And here's what I'm going to say. So Unit 3 is when I talk about lots of different conflicts in early America. And let's see. Instead of a question, I'm just going to put a hint. Size matters. They're going to go, what? What is she saying? I'm going to change this to short answer. But here's what I want you to notice. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then ABCD in all caps, number 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's an ABCD small, and then ABCD here in all caps. So what they're going to have to do is, this is easy, just figure out the answers, but when they put in the combo, their size is going to matter. This one is going to need to be in capital. This one's going to need to be small. And so once again, this is super simple. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to this. This is the kind of escape room puzzle that anybody can do. I'm just starting out on this journey myself, so I'm going to keep it simple. But this way, it at least forces them to think. There's a challenge in figuring out, okay, what is she looking for? So I'm hoping that that will be enough for them to go, okay. So let's see. I have it's 2. Capital A. We put that in there. We need the response validation. This is going to be required. I'm going to put that in. And so text contains 2. Capital A. 2. I'm going to do a little d, and then capital C. I'll just put uh-oh, maybe next time. And then I'm going to add a section. All right, so now I'm on to Unit 4. Once again, I'm going to add a question. And this time, so for this unit, this is the unit where I talk about the Enlightenment, the First Great Awakening, and all of that sort of thing. And so I'm going to have the students do something a little bit more challenging. This will take them a little bit longer. So those that have breezed through prior to this are going to take a little longer. I am sending them to a jigsaw puzzle. That's what it looks like. This is jigsawplanet.com. And so I took one of my, by the way, this is free, www.jigsawplanet.com. It's free. I uploaded a photo. Not a photo. It was like an old-fashioned political cartoon. It was a criticism of George Whitefield. He was a famous Great Awakening preacher. And so this is something, once again, that they saw on a PowerPoint. So they've learned it, they've seen it, but they haven't actually engaged a lot with it. So some of them are going to recognize it and go, oh yeah, what was that guy's name? Some of them might not recognize it at all, and it's going to send them back into the digital classroom where they can go back and look back through all the notes that we've done to try to figure it out. So all I'm going to do is share this link with them. So there we go. And then, oh, no, I don't want that. I'm going to say, let's 10 letters, all caps. There we go, 10 letters, all caps. I'm going to do my response validation again, and so it's going to contain his name is Whitfield. And then, okay, if they get it wrong, let's see. Hint. Maybe you need a little awakening. There we go. I'll give them a hint for it in case they're struggling with what that is. So they're actually going to have to go to Jigsaw Planet, put that puzzle together. It looks like this. Once they see it, they're going to figure out who this guy is, and then they're going to have to remember his name, go back and put his name in. All right, so then let's add a section again. Okay, and this is my last section. This is Unit 5. This is a section where I teach the American Revolution. And so I'm going to add a question. They would have just finished learning about this. And so what I've done, once again, did an image. I could have done it without the image, just separately. But it's going to show them these 5 battles. How well do you know your revolutionary history? There we go. And I tried to change it to linear scale, but I want a short answer. Let me say 5 number combo. So what I want them to do is be able to put these in order. Now, if you notice, I'm making this harder. The very first thing that we did, I kind of gave them what they needed. So by putting the R's red or whatever. Here, I'm not going to tell them the Battle of Saratoga is 1, Battle of Bunker Hill is 2. They can figure that out. But what they're going to need to do is know the order that these things took place. All right, so let me make this required once again. Response validation. The number is going to be equal to. Okay, so if you know your history, you know that Lexington and Concord, then Battle of Bunker Hill, then Declaration of Independence, then Saratoga, then Yorktown. Let's see. I'll do the British are coming, the British are coming. There we go. And then I'm going to add one more section, and this is where I'm just going to put a congratulations image in. So I'm going to add an image. All right, and while you could just do a typical congratulations or yay, you escaped, sometimes it's kind of fun to do something a little bit more motivational, and so I found this one just in Google Image. It says success is what happens after you survived all your mistakes. So yay, that's there. Congratulations. You did it. Yay. And so that's the full thing. So now it's just time for me to make this look pretty. And so early American history escape. I could put it's a review game, or I might just review makes it sound. Here, I'll put that down here. A review of units 1 through 5. Well, I can say it's a quick review. You might want to have your notes handy. There we go. And then I also am going to want to change just the overall background to make it look cuter. Okay, so in order to change that, customize theme, I'm going to choose a header. And I just went and found a photo of just the We the People, kind of just a history themed. Oh man, it says it's too small. Okay, give me just a sec. Okay, so I'm just gonna find another one. Let's see. I downloaded that. Looks like this one is going to work. Oh, it says it's too small again. I don't know. I can figure that out later. Maybe another thing I can do is just do kind of a red, white, and blue thing. So there we go. Make it more of a formal thing. So anyway, I might go back and play with the theme, the image up there, the color, just so that I like it when there's a picture up there. So I'll play with that. But overall, hope you kind of get where I'm coming from. And so to send it to them, what I'm going to do is just take this link. I'll copy that link, and that is what I'm going to link to my students. So it's going to look like this for them. I'm just going to tell them a quick review of Units 1 through 5. You might have your notes handy, and you notice that right here they have to solve this. They might say that. It's like, nope, ships are sinking. Try again. And so they're going to have to figure out how to do this. And let me just really quick make sure. Sure enough, it won't work unless the caps are on. And so you see it took that off, and it takes them up to the next unit where they can do their next thing. So this is going to be fun. This is adapted from what I did when I had that homecoming week disaster where I had to teach and didn't have anything to teach that day, wasn't prepared. So I'm excited that now I'm going to have this in my back pocket ready to go. The nice thing about this is I can keep adding units on. If I happen to have a rainy day in the middle of Unit 4, I can just delete certain questions and make this about Units 1 through 3. So this is totally customizable. I can just make a copy and take off what I want to. I can make it as long or as short as I need to. I could even, at the end of Unit 2, just give them this one question just to say, okay, 5-minute, maybe the bell ringer at the beginning of the next class. How well do you know your Chesapeake history? Can you figure this out? Just as kind of an instant thing. So I love personally having these little puzzles already pre-made, ready to go, that I can then insert in my class for whatever need I might have, whether it be the 5-minute bell ringer, something in the middle of class to break it up, or hey, I need to fill an entire class period. How do I do that? This is perfect. So hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you for my next escape room edition.